Before we get started with today's show, I just want to remind you that you can save 10% on your order with Symphony of Balloons, a luxury balloon company that also offers a 360 camera. Just simply mention you heard about them on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, you heard all the sponsors at the beginning, and you'll see them throughout the show. Been a while. Been over a month since I've been here. I took a vacation. To be honest with you, I was burnt out. So I need to reset, recharge. And I didn't want to just do this show. Obviously, it's a passion project that, looking to do more with, obviously. More on that in the upcoming weeks. But I don't like just sitting up here just trying to find things to talk about. I like to talk about things that I'm actually passionate about or have an opinion on. So that's the reason why, you don't just see me just blabbing. Sometimes it becomes twice a week, sometimes it's once a week. Especially with me podcasting all days on Wednesdays and now producing twice Mondays and Thursdays. So, but I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. But we are finally through Thanksgiving, the holidays. Hope y'all enjoyed your food. One thing I don't do on Thanksgiving, I don't post my plate no more. Like somebody said, we all eating the same thing. For those out there, food photography is a special niche. Everybody tries it, but everybody cannot execute it. Like everybody always want to take a picture of their food when they go out. And the truth be told, sometimes the food actually tastes better than the way it looks. I see some places y'all need to keep that to yourself. But that's just my opinion. You know, um, but like uh, moving on. This is episode 122. One thing I do want to say, couple announcements. I made an announcement before. I'm an affiliate of Vertical Athletics. So make sure y'all check that out. Use the promo code in the description, Brian H. Waters, when you check out and purchase one of the headbands, purchase one of the cooling towels. If you're a huge soccer fan, an MLS fan at that, they have your favorite clubs. I guess I said that right. And if you're a baseball fan, they have some of all your favorite teams. So I have an Orioles headband. I'll probably get another one soon. But it's very cool to use in the gym. As you can see, I have hair, but if you don't, it's very cool. It looks cool. The cooling towel is also great. So I definitely recommend y'all getting one of those. May not have heard of vertical athletics before, but trust me when I tell you, I'm not going to sit up here and endorse a product that I don't believe in. So speaking of product, I'm rocking my Black Wrestling. You can't get this no more. But shout out to them, the homies at Black Wrestling. That's family over there. It's cold, so I threw in one of the sweatshirts. Shout out to Cal, my brother from Wednesday Worldwide. Shout out to Fam, Math, and Mimi. They over there doing great things. They're funny, so but they always drop some cool merch. Always has good quality. Speaking of merch, also shout out to the real Dwayne Allen. TRDA brand is very strong, so you may have seen me wear the shirt "Take Respect, Defy Adversity." He has hoodies now, and he has the snapback cap. So make sure when you're looking to do holiday purchases, that's a great place to start. Support the brother and look cool while doing it. Also, another announcement before I get into some things I'm going to talk about today. Just fresh off the press, I am now also brand affiliate of Opus Clips. So you may see some cool social clips like this one on your screen. If you're watching, if you're listening, you may see it on my social media channels at Brian H. Waters. What you'll notice is that it's very quick clips. And guess what? To be honest with you, I didn't have to do nothing but insert the link and maybe change the spelling of a couple of captions if I wanted to see. But this conversation that I had with my sister, I really love how they broke it up. We were sitting side by side, but the videos is vertical, and it's very good. Helps with trending topics. But what's also cool is that They give you scores. They give you viral scores, let you know how good it is. So if you a content creator out there, go click the link in the bio and use my brand affiliate code. I would definitely appreciate that. So, but shout out to everybody out there who is on this content creating grind because it is not easy, but it's so much fun. Now, let's move on in today's trending topic. So, I should say this week, a couple things that irritated me on the timeline this week. Dez Bryant. Dez freaking Bryant. Dez Bryant felt the need to call out Malika Andrews. He called out Malika Andrews because, in Dez's mind, he didn't feel that she was fair to the coverage. He said, and this is the tweet: "You went out of your way to crucify Brandon Miller on draft day over something he did not do. Why have you said nothing about Josh Giddey? To I advise you not to make this a black or white thing. Your parents really raised you wrong, and you went to a private school, and just because you went to a private school, don't make you better. You appeal, and I know you're kind. You just a puppet. I don't know how a former or current NBA player could sit there across from you and look at you with some kind of respect." Now, I thought this was ridiculous because once again, here we have a man calling out a woman on how she does her job. And I've gone on here and said plenty of times that journalism, broadcasting, one is different from content creating. Let's be real. Journalists operate by a different standard and under a different set of principles. That's the thing people don't understand. And, you know, everybody thinks because and Drake said something like, people get their podcast mics from Amazon. I look at it like this. Me and my brother, the real Dwayne Allen, we created the Wrestle Around back in 2011. And when we decided that we wanted to do this, we did take the principle and how to edit. We took what we was learning in the classroom and applied it to our brand. One of the things he was always vocal about was making sure, accuracy, and that even when we had our group, we took that just as serious. So we wasn't out here trying to be shock jockey. And a lot of times content creators and people think, "Oh, I could do that." Now, I know we love all the smoke. We love I Am Athlete and all these other different podcasts, right? But the thing is, it's kind of ruined the game. And I know it may sound like a get off my lawn person, sound like some of my teachers, the way they did in 2012, 2013, when they said they hated First Take. Because what they saw was a lot of people who were writers getting on the desk debating sports, and that led to students coming to the classroom. If they see a sports writing class, they wanted to just talk sports. They didn't want to learn how to actually cover a game, how to actually score a game, how to make sure everything was accurate. When I see this, I saw somebody ask a Dez to be on their podcast, and he's like, and then he talked about he got one coming out. Now we're in a day and age, everybody want to hear what the athlete has to say, and that's cool. But you do lose something when you don't have a real producer or a real journalist at the table. And it's one thing to analyze, but it's another thing when people try to tell journalists how to do their job. And that's where the big issue is. I see people on Twitter all the time, "Oh, she shouldn't have asked that question." And Stephen A. Smith said it. He said, no, if he was in that chair, he would have had to ask that question about Brandon Miller. Now, Malika bringing up the issue that the replacement coach for the Boston Celtics had, not sure if it was necessary. But I do know this: she has a producer, a coordinating producer, an executive producer, and all the above, right? Those are the people that's in her ear. It's a thing called an IEP, and they're telling her, okay, go here, go there. That's not a puppet. That's doing your job. And if we be honest, if Dez could have still did his job when he was with the Cowboys and run the routes properly, you know, as a and this is me speaking as a football fan, not watching the game. And I said if, because I know people are like, oh, you was used to, you know, if he would have performed better, maybe he would still been there longer. I knew the Cowboys was in trouble. Well, I knew Dez Bryant's tenure with the Cowboys was in trouble when the first thing that came out of Dak Prescott's mouth when he was hurt was, Dez don't make or break this offense. We're gonna keep making it happen. And you didn't see the same thing. Shout out to my friend Ashley Baker. She brought up a good point one time in the conversation. She may forget, but she brought up the fact that Tony Romo hit a lot of Dez Bryant's faults. So him coming at Malika Andrews, I thought was very, very disrespectful. And again, he had that energy for her, and he talked about it's always personal. And then he got a nerve to come at my bro, Chris Williamson. Now, you go in the archives. Chris been on here breaking through glass ceilings, and he shared his story. He's an Emmy nominated sportscaster. We're gonna give the brother some love. CBS Sports HQ freelance host, TYT contributor. And remind you, retweets don't endorse his retweets do not are not endorsements. Now, the issue I had was, and Chris brought up a good point. He said, the lack of intelligence in this tweet. Now, he even said, I may not agree with everything Malika does, but Dez was way out of line, unnecessarily attacking a black woman when he could have applied the heat to Josh Giddey, but that clearly wasn't his agenda. Boom, there it is, right there, right? Dez didn't say nothing about this NBA player allegedly fooling around with an underage woman, underage female. He ain't say nothing about that. But the first thing coming out of his mouth is him coming at Malika Andrews because of the coverage. And he even said, I'm always about the athlete. So you're going to support a pedophile if that's the case? And, people bringing up the coverage, the lack of coverage. The bottom line is we know about it. So, regardless of what, there is an awareness, there is an investigation. Maybe Stephen A. Smith says that if there was a commissioner's exempt list, then Josh Giddey wouldn't be playing. Well, maybe the NBA needs a commissioner's exempt list. But the issue here is Dez went there, but he wouldn't even say nothing about Josh Giddey. So, but the issue I had when he came at Chris was the dude had a nerve to say, she don't want you, bro. It then went on to say, I could take your wife. Are you freaking kidding me? Now, anybody who knows me, I hate that word. I just said it. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be on Twitter and people say, those who really know me, shut the fuck up. But for the lack of this conversation, for the point of this conversation, anyone who knows me knows I used to be a die-hard Dallas Cowboys fan. I took so much heat, especially during my ESPN days, right? How can you like Cowboys and the Ravens? You can't have two teams. Shout out to my boy, my homie, Ryan Cole. Y'all know him, just Rod Cole. He even said, went during Thanksgiving 2014, he asked my dad, he said, how you let him have two teams? So we went there, right? And but I used to get so much heat for that, right? So much heat. Cowboys was my team. The Dallas Cowboys, I loved them. And guess what? Guess what? Dez was my favorite wide receiver. At one point, second to Michael Irvin all time, you know? So now, but after this, I said, I see he did apologize after the Heat, but I don't, for him to come at Chris, you know what I mean? Chris don't pick up the phone every day. We ain't calling each other, but I see he do good work. I give him a shout out, and vice versa. He give me a shout out. But for him to do that, that was ridiculous. You know, it was ridiculous for him to say. And I'm gonna read the tweet because first Chris did say in so many words, how you going to have more smoke for Malika Andrews when Josh Giddey got caught dating an underage girl, allegations the NBA look into. And he gonna say she married, bro. She don't want you. I got smoke with her because she tried to ruin Brandon Miller draft moment. He gonna have kids one day, and that clip will appear. You media people know exactly what y'all doing. Don't act, don't ask questions like I'm not hip to the bullshit. And I'm like, bro, you serious? You know what I mean? So then that's when Chris said the lack of intelligence level in this tweet. Then this is where I have the issue. You go low, I'll go lower. I got more money than you. I can do what I want, say what I want, wherever I want. Probably could take your wife if I want. I'm a business owner, early invested in a lot of great businesses. I wouldn't trade places with you if my life depended on it, Mr. Smart Guy. Now, that was absolutely uncalled for. That was uncalled for. You're going to involve the man's wife. And shout out to Chris and his wife. Incredible. Two incredible people. I met his wife, one of the NABJ conventions, I believe. I've been following them on social media, followed their journey. I was happy for my brother. He found the love of his life. You could just see it, like the way they look at each other, the way they smile. I loved it. And for him to involve her and say, I could take your wife. Now you say she don't want you, bro. She got somebody, but then to go, you so clearly you did your research and you see this brother's happy and you tried to attack his character. So I just thought that was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous that once again, Malika Andrews is in the news for people complaining about how she does her job. Like I don't agree with everything anybody does on TV. Like there's not one person that I agree with 100% how they do. Hell, I'm a huge wrestling fan. Anybody knows that Michael Cole is on my Mount Rushmore, and I don't agree with all his calls. you know, all right, shoot, I'm gonna bury this in the show, but I don't agree with everything my lady says, and we do a show every Wednesday together. You think I agree with everything she says? So I don't agree with nothing everybody else does, right? I have change of hearts too. But for everybody to always want to come at Malika Andrews at how she does her job and what she has to say, I think is totally ridiculous. So it's time to stop the Malika Andrews hate. And if you think you could do her job better, go to school, apply yourselves, apply for the position. But if not, sit back, shut the hell up, and consume ESPN because we all know you're going to continue to do so. So that's my take on that. Like I said, enough of that. You even seen like Jamel Hill get involved, and again, Dez having the smoke. Like I am so sick and tired of men coming at women in sports or in media because they feel like they don't, they can say whatever they want. I see this all the time, especially on wrestling Twitter. Shout out to CN Doll, my sister from TWG fan club. she go back and forth with people on the timeline. They think she don't know her wrestling. I can tell you straight up, there's points in wrestling and corners in the business that she knows more about than I do. So I would never disrespect anybody. We all there's not one person that knows everything. I call Ashley Baker all the time, like, yo, so what's the deal with this? Because it's times I don't pay attention to things in football or basketball, especially when I said, I'm gonna go heavy into this wrestling world. So I'll say, hey, so I'm trying to get understanding on this. And she was like, well, you gotta do oh, okay. So there's that. In lighter news, Spotify Wrapped. Did y'all open up your Spotify Wraps? It's a fun time of year. I do want to thank everybody who rated who the Ringer wrestling shows appeared in their top 10 or top 5. Obviously, it's in mine. Well, I listen to all the shows because I'm always looking to gain content and always improve my quality of work. But it was very cool to see a lot of people. I got tagged in a lot of Spotify raps. This is the first time it's ever happened for me in my career. And I really appreciate everybody out there supporting us as that's the day job. I would love to see breaking through glass ceilings, the wrestling realm, those wrestling girls, all the brands that I work with and affiliate. I would love to see that in everybody else's Spotify raps. But yeah, share with me your Spotify raps. Let me know what's in your top 5. Because I personally think that's the best podcast app. I know a lot of people like listen to Apple Podcasts, and that's cool. But I'll say this: even before joining the company, I started using Spotify to listen to my podcast because I got a Google Home and I realized how I could keep it in sync. So I could be sitting there playing my PlayStation and having everything come through the Google Home. Like I can't do that with Apple, can't do that with even audiobooks. So that's the reason why I did that. Grand Theft Auto 6 is getting ready to come out. And that's very, very interesting. We've been waiting for this game. So the context purposes. The first trailer releases December 5th. The last time Grand Theft Auto came out, there was a guy named CM Punk. He was in the WWE. Guess what? CM Punk is back in the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this podcast by wearing a t-shirt, whether it's the one that says breaking through glass ceilings or the one that says no ceilings above success, simply go to foryourwear.com. Also, you can support some of your other favorite podcasts and content creators, including Those Wrestling Girls, Seahawk, and the Wrestling Club. And you can support some of your favorite independent wrestlers, including Jay Bougie, Trisha Dora, Chaz the Don. Shoot, all of Pure Ignorance is on there. So go on foryourwear.com, go under personalities, you'll find Brian H. Waters, and buy a t-shirt. And remember, I'll give you a shout out on the show. And I'm back. So Ric Flair's in the news, in wrestling news, but it kind of pop culture trending topic as he was on AEW Dynamite the other night alongside his longtime friend and foe, the man they call Sting. And one of the things that I guess he looked on social media, and there's been this talk that Ric Flair needs the money. Ric Flair is old. Ric Flair is tired. He needs to go somewhere and sit down, as my father would say. And he was said that, quite frankly, he put out a tweet that says he's tired of all the negativity. He don't need the work, money. He just want to be a friend. Be a friend for Sting as Sting closes this chapter in his life called professional wrestling. And he even said he is willing to walk away if he is embarrassing the company. Somebody said it best. Is this a new storyline? And now you see when people put out tweets like this, some of the very people who's saying, "Oh, Rick, it's okay. They just can't be like you. They wish they could be like you." The same people tell Ric Flair to go home. Ric Flair's different, man. He's somebody, when you look back, he's lived a rough life. He had a rough upbringing. You look at his documentary, you'll see that he had a rough upbringing, and it's the reason why he loves being Ric Flair, not Richard Flyer or Flair. He loves being Ric Flair. He loves styling and profiling. Now, quite frankly, the tweet, he might have been in his feelings. I don't see Ric Flair going home. I sure don't see Tony Khan telling Ric Flair that you need to go home. You're embarrassing the company. I don't think Ric Flair is embarrassed in AEW. I think AEW does enough stuff to embarrass themselves. So it's very interesting that with all this happening, you see, it's very interesting to see everything happening with Flair that, he will put this tweet out. Now, I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try to go to Sting's last match. Greensboro, North Carolina. I definitely think I'm gonna try to make it. I think that it would be great to see Sting. I did see him at Grand Slam, and I wasn't feeling it, but I don't know. It's the last match. It's gonna be a moment, so I think I'm gonna try to make it. We're gonna see though. Yeah, we definitely gonna see what happens there. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll be it for this week's episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with Uncomfortable Conversations. I know it was a very uncomfortable conversation that I had earlier, but make sure y'all rate and subscribe. Give me 5 stars. Give me 5 stars. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you check out Opus Clip. Make sure you check out Vertical Athletics. Make sure you check out foryourwear.com. Get some merch. Got Breaking Through Glass Ceilings t-shirts. Got No Ceilings Above Success t-shirts. Make great Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. Make sure you treat everybody nice. It's the holiday season. It's a time that, it can be brutal for some people. Unfortunately, life is beautiful. We get to create memories. Unfortunately, we all have to go. So a lot of times what happens is when that holiday season comes, it's a reminder. You know, like I lost my grandmother in 2001 when that Christmas came. It was rough. Now I got my PlayStation 2 for Christmas that year. SmackDown Just Bring It. But there were moments where I was like, man, I wish Grandmommy was here. And especially coming unexpectedly. So I know a lot of people have these type of moments. Be nice. Be nice. Give people hugs or fist bumps. I know it's going to be cold and COVID ready to run wild, but just be nice. So make sure y'all check me out next week. Mass Man Show. I produced the Monday and Thursday edition. Um, I pop in, hang out in the background of Cheap Heat, and then Wednesday Worldwide I publish and host with Ben and Cal. So make sure y'all check out those episodes, all under the Ring of Wrestling Network. Check out the Wrestling Realm. Championship Culture will be back soon. I may do an episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. There's a couple things I might want to talk about, so may want to do that. And then also check out TWG Fan Club, a part of Those Wrestling Girls universe. So subscribe to their podcast. Krista B is bringing back Sound Off, and it should be very good. So make sure y'all be there. Check that out. I'm blessed to be a lot of important and great networks. I want to give a shout out to my brother Lynn, the Bros Who Think Network. He is changing that podcast and he had me on it. It was great. I had a wonderful time. We talked CM Punk. I told Lynn, I said, you know what? I didn't do a Breaking Through Glass Sales. You got the first reactions. My first reactions before I talked about it all day on Wednesday. I was able to talk with him on Tuesday. So make sure y'all check that out. Until the next time, folks, Brian H. Waters, so long, everybody. And remember, do not let anyone place a ceiling above your success. Podcasters and gamers, we all know it can be intense. We're talking, we're getting hype, we're passionate. Sometimes we need a boost. Well, you can get that by getting Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy is the number one supplement for podcasters and gamers, and they have tons of different flavors, including strawberry burst, tropical breeze, and cotton candy. And you can save 10% by putting in the code Brian H at checkout. So go to rogueenergy.com and enter the code Brian H to save money.